Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. My name is Jason. Welcome to this whiskey review here on the channel, continuing on my Glencadam week, where today we're going to be reviewing the Glencadam 17-year-old Portwood. Now, this is one that is a limited edition run, and also I'm going to say to you guys, if you do use Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, feel free to follow me along as well. And also today's question of the day from Mr. Bananas is going to be, what's your favorite Glencadam expression? It could be absolutely anything. It could be the 17, could be an 18, 19, 25, could even be the 10, the 15. Let me know down below in the comments section. So getting back to this whiskey though, it's a 17-year-old whiskey, bottled at an ABV of 46%. The actual cask maturation for this one is 12 years initially in these ex-bourbon barrels, and then it is finally finished off for a period of 5 years. Yes, 5 years in ruby port pipes to complete this 17-year-old whiskey. Now, in terms of the actual distillery itself, is the Glencadam Distillery. They're owned by the parent company, Angus Dundee, and they are located in the Highland region of Scotland. Now, the price point on a full-size bottle here in the UK is currently at £95, and that is rather pricey for a 17-year-old. However, it is exclusive and it is limited to 1,128 bottles. So that's global production of this one, and I have checked online. A lot of online retailers still have this one in stock, so it's kind of interesting as I'm going to be keeping a track of it along the way. Does it have caramel colouring on this one? Absolutely not. This is all natural colour, and in terms of it's also non-chill filtered, and that's what Angus Dundee like to maintain in their whiskey. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the nosing of this whiskey. Into the nose. Getting us started on the nose for the Glencadam 17. Straight away, I'm picking out a nice, rich, ripe character and fruity presence. A lot of ripe red orchard fruits and a little bit of stone fruits as well. Red apples, pears, a little bit of even a red plum character, almost stewing in its own juice. Then it develops this note of almost red currants and red berries, raspberries, cranberries, but almost like dried cranberries. So this port influence is really coming through quite strong. And it does become a little bit creamier and maltier on the end. But for me, it reminds me of a strawberry and cream sweet that we used to get. It's like a swirl of the two together as a hard-boiled sweet. And just on the end of that, I'm getting a very interesting tasting note, which reminds me of a cereal called cornflakes. It's just something out of the blue. That's about it for the nose. Let's jump into the palate next. Slanger. Next, arrival onto the palate, you're greeted with a nice medium full texture, a nice viscosity about this whiskey as it's got a nice rich mouth coating character. In terms of flavour profiles, you do get a little bit of this sort of citrusy presence and a little bit of spice combined together. For me, it's like a candied tangerine, but it's also got a little bit of these spices combined together. A little bit of sweet clove and maybe even a touch of white pepper adding to this sort of spicy aroma on the palate and the first impression. After you make your way through on that, now you're getting now into those fruitier profiles, and those red fruits are back in this one. Those red plums, raspberries, and red currants, very dominant up front. As soon as they make way, you're getting a slight bitter character, and it's like a sweet bitter character. So for me, it's going to have to be red licorice. Then I get a little bit of note that reminds me of these cherry drops, which are a lot like lozenges we get here. And just on the end, there's like a toasted caramel note, really sweet, and sort of rounding off all those initial slight bitter characters I got off that red licorice. It's now just completely sweet, and it's finished quite well. We'll get into the finish, and we'll come to our conclusion on the Glencadam 17. So working our way into the finish now for the Glencadam 17. The finish for this whiskey's got a nice sort of, say, medium texture about it. You're getting a lot of these red fruits really carrying off from the palate. And that port character is holding itself very through from the nose palate into the finish, even though it's only been 5 years compared to the 12 years in the ex-bourbon cask. They really seem to be coming very through, and it must be a very rich port cask they've used. In terms of flavours though, the cherry drops, those red fruits, a little bit of a candied sweetness on the end, and for me this really lovely presence of a ripe fig as if you bit it into it and it's sunk into your jawline, and you're getting that nice fruitier presence as if you're almost chewing it. And just on the end there's a little bit of a briny, salty character just holding itself there. And I think that's something of a house style because I've noticed it in the last three expressions we have reviewed. So next up for my rating, And for my rating on this one, I'm going to give this one here an 87 out of 100. One thing I liked about this one is the actual structure and the character from this whiskey. You do get a lot of these classic port whiskey influences into it, and it's something I find really nice because I really love a port cask finish. The only thing I do have a problem with on this one, if I had to say it's a problem, is the price at close to £100. And that's quite, it's quite up there in terms of price points versus other limited edition like the 13, which is £46. But then again, you are getting something that's only 1,100 bottles versus, say, for example, other brands that do maybe 20,000 bottles. So that's just a little price comparative on that point. And also exclusivity price. But yeah, minus that, flavor profile, it's a beautiful structure, and I love these port cask influences. Does one need water or time? This is something you can play around with, but personally for myself, I didn't feel it needed it because it kind of reduces that texture, which I really enjoy. And especially the finish, the length of the finish with a few drops of water kind of fades away a bit too quickly for my liking. Let me know if you try this one down below in the comment section, but if you have enjoyed, drop it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel, and also be sure to check out some other Glencadam videos I'll leave on screen. This has been me, JasonWhiskyWise, Silent Mr. Bananas, and we'll catch you for the next video. Slàinte.